All right, family, we live right now. We are live right now. Such a magnificent panel. This is just a sneak peek. Let me turn this down. This is just a sneak peek into what's going down on Sunday, family. What's going on in the chat room? Let me see what's going on in the chat room before we get started. Wu Amun, King Ra, what's good, family? Listen, this is legendary. This is legendary tonight. This panel is okay. Greetings from Chicago. All right, what's up, family?
Yes.
All right, as the chat room fills in, we are going to start by, I want to give the gentleman an opportunity to reintroduce themselves. For those who may be new, they may see this tonight, tomorrow, but I want the gentleman that I'm here with, my brother Billy Carson, Sri Master Gano Grills, Red Pill, Blue Pill. We will all be at the Ascension Conference this Sunday, November 3rd, along with other people as well. Ross Ben will be in the Venom area. Hunk Rising Sun will be in the Venom area. KT, the Arch Degree, will be in the Venom area. AA Rashid told me he might try to make it to the Venom area. It's going to be awesome. Cambatta, me and Cambatta hitting the stage along with Red and Blue Pill. Guys are getting a musical performance. It's going to be absolutely an amazing event this Sunday, November 3rd in New York City, Brooklyn, New York. The link is in the description bar. If you could be there physically, you want to be there to be in that resonance and feel that vibration and take that with you home or wherever you're going, and it'll be life-changing.
Get some of this cosmic culinary. Yeah.
And if you can't, you will want to you want to get the live stream and at least, be there virtually. It'll have somewhat of the same effect. But at this time, I want to give the gentleman an opportunity. At this point, everybody's familiar. I've had all you gentlemen on my platform several times. I would like each one of you to introduce yourself and let the people know what are you bringing on Sunday to the 22. What can the people look forward to the 2020 Ascension Conference? We'll start with, we'll go in order as I see your pictures. We'll start with Sri Master Gano Grill, Blue Pill, Billy Carson, and then Red Pill. We'll start with you, Sri Master. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, well, thank you again for having me on, Brother Rich. And I'm really looking forward to, reaching a new audience. And what I'm going to be speaking about is quite a few different things. And the main thing is I would like to show some evidence and proof, because a lot of people need to see proof of things that that basically speak for themselves. And a lot of times when we see things happen in front of us, it's very difficult. A lot of times we can see a miraculous occurrence, but if you don't have a repository in your consciousness to place that, it's not going to resonate. This is why people come up with, phrases like pseudo spookism, or they automatically think that it's a hoax. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to show and prove certain things that are empirical, and certain things I want people to walk away with the knowledge that there are higher realities, and those higher realities have an agenda to basically let us know that they exist. So that's going to be part of what it is that I'm going to bring to the Ascension 2020 conference, and also talk a little bit more about what Ascension is and some other things, some things that Galacticus has been doing over the past 5 years. So I'm going to have some of my students in the audience, and I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody that comes to the conference.
Indeed.
All right, Blue Bill?
Yes, I'm going to be dealing with a rudimentary application of activation, not just dealing with the surface philosophical breakdown of what these topics mean, but getting into actual demonstration in real time, giving people tools they can walk away with to activate, and, just laying out a very clear road to 2020 and explaining the opportunity that we have available to us if we just resonate with this information just enough to believe it within ourselves, to know that we're worthy of this level of dialogue, because this is going to be a continuation of where our great elders left off in these lecture circuits, when it was all about the mastery of metaphysics, high level information, highbrow information that ultimately, you know, as we can see, you know, has laid the foundation for a conversation that has sprung forth that is just enriching the world many times over, you know. And we have to know that we were not solely responsible for this rise in consciousness, but the necessity of gathering and functions such as this and having these dialogues. You know what I mean? So I can't wait. Our participation is threefold. Mine's in particular because I get a chance to perform, I get a chance to, get a chance to lecture, and I'm also dealing with the food. So the culinary experience, you know, activating on all levels, you know, having something for all bodies.
Indeed. Brother Billy Carson?
Yeah, of course, I'm Billy Carson, founder of Forbidden Knowledge. I'm really excited about this. First of all, you know, the opportunity that you presented to me is amazing. I'm so happy and thankful for it. I'm happy that I'm able to reach out to more of people that are, you know, looking to think on the same frequency and wavelength that we're on, in our same color pattern. And I think that it's really important. One of the biggest things that I saw when I did a mystery school a couple of weeks ago was about 80% of the class was minorities. And I was so excited about that because it's just showing me, man, that the world is really changing. The movement is real. Consciousness is really being elevated around this planet in ways that we can't even perceive. Some people who you think may not even be changing consciously could be kind of just hiding a little bit, but they really are starting to think differently. People are really tired of the mainstream system that has been literally, I think, beaten and raped into cultures over the last few eons, and are ready for change, ready for new information, ready for high-level content. So I'm really excited to be able to bring the Kemetic principles for quantum entangled manifestations to this lecture circuit and talk to people about how they can utilize these ancient principles from our ancestors to get to the next level and utilize these principles in your life to turn their life around and create health, wealth, and prosperity for not only for themselves, but also for their future generations.
Red Pill.
Indeed. I'm going to be addressing the brothers and sisters in the audience who identify themselves as the creatives. I'm going to be addressing the brothers and sisters in the audience who identify themselves as being on the path of knowing thyself. And we're going to unpack and we're going to talk about the power of the brain. We're going to talk about the power of the brain waves, how the brain waves are being manipulated, and how to basically tap in and utilize the states of your brain in order to manifest and bring things forth, like, you know, tapping into your gamma waves and the natural remedies that are available, so you can tap into your gamma waves and your theta waves and things of that nature, and be able to not just daydream, but to bring things into manifestation. I'm also going to be speaking on the technological advances that are being made in neuroscience, that, you know, virtual, augmented reality, mind hacking, brain hacking, all of the technology that's available, but also the ancient technology like the psilocybin, like the quote unquote MB05, DMT, all of these things that are available that people are utilizing to have these breakthroughs. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation.
You know, I read, once again, peace family, for those who are just coming in, I know we only been on for 9 minutes. It's going down November 3rd. I'm on here. This is like the all-star panel. This is the all-star lineup. This is amazing. I'm happy. I'm happy inside for putting this together. One thing I do before I have an event, I could easily have 3-4 events a year. I have 250,000 subscribers. The people really trust and believe, the speakers I bring on the platform. but I can't really move until I get a certain feeling, a certain gut instinct. So all early this year, I was saying, people was asking me, when's your next event? When's your next event? And I just kept saying, I don't feel it yet. I don't feel it yet. And I actually want to think, I had an idea of who I want to bring, but it was somebody missing. And when I got put on the Billy Carson, it was like, oh shit, this is it. I can start from here and move from there. So I got hip to Billy. I seen your work, but I didn't really put two and two together. I didn't really, wasn't really paying attention. I told Street Master Gano Girls this the other day, I was sleeping on Street Master for a little while. So sometimes I don't pay attention to people right away, but Billy Carson information hit me like that this year. And I said, oh shit, I gotta get this dude on here. And I was trying for a while to get in contact with him. Then eventually I was in a live stream and I was just like, yo, whoever know Billy Carson, let him know, Brother Rich, what the holler. and the brother hollered back at me. And when I talked to him, I was like, yo, I want to bring you to New York. Then after that, I was like, okay, I need other brothers around him that's going to bring the heat. Immediately, I was like, I need to bring Street Master Gano Grills, and I think I need to bring Red and Blue Pill on with this one as well. So it hit me. I want to thank Billy for just being big on Instagram, and you got like 1 million followers on Instagram, and you put content out like rapid fire. So that's what really hooked me in to create this conference. What I want to ask you, all you gentlemen, is I keep hearing, I listen to it, watch a lot of information. I keep hearing certain people in different spiritual communities say, this is the greatest time humanity has ever seen. And because we're making a huge paradigm shift at this point. We was in extreme darkness, and we're going, and the information cannot be stopped at all. And I talked to myself, and I said, well, damn, all the history I read about the ancient Egyptians, Atlantis, and this and that, this is the greatest time ever? Like, am I alive? This is the greatest time? So I would ask the gentleman on this panel, what do you think when you hear people say, this is the greatest time ever in the history of mankind, considering all you are so well-versed in history?
I would say that if I could answer the question, I would say that we've had an opportunity to learn from the mistakes of Atlantis. We've learned from the mistakes of all of the empires that have fallen. We've gotten a chance to look at what they did wrong and take notes. Man is a lot more intelligent than he's ever been in terms of physics, science, mathematics. And there are things in existence now that are at their apex that didn't exist 15 years ago. Right now, if you look at social media, the social engineering of media is something that people can't live without, to the extent to which if you go to church, you go to a bank, you go to restaurants when families are supposed to be together, they're literally in their phones. I take pictures of this when I'm out innocuously because I can't believe that people are not connecting with each other as much as they are in the World Wide Web. But really what that means is that people are interfacing with a multiplicity of different programs and different things at the same time, because they're preparing themselves for a higher aperture of what is to come. So this being the greatest time is that we have great lessons that we've learned from. We also have a lot of technology that is incoming, that's waiting to come in. A lot of that technology is ancient. A lot of that technology has not been fully disclosed yet. But one of the things that I would say is that it's really incumbent upon us to demand it and open up a space within us to be ready to receive it. And this is why a lot of the movies are so successful, because we actually are seeing these things play out in movies. And these movies are making millions and billions of dollars because it's entertaining something within the consciousness that we once had, but we've been estranged from it. So this is definitely a great time to be alive, and everything is coalescing to bring about a brand new paradigm.
Yes.
I think the brother hit it right on the head.
That part.
Really a great summary. We're in an era right now where, in my opinion, we're in the Tetra Yuga. If you look at the Yuga cycle, and people like us and the people that are trying to raise consciousness on the planet are trying to usher mankind back into the golden age. And one of the things that, that I've seen now in researching and looking into these ancient civilizations is that the rise and fall of civilizations is cyclical. It will rise and fall continuously, but nowhere have I seen it written. I read out over 1,000 scriptures, cylinder scrolls, tablets, cuneiform writings, papyruses, and I have seen nowhere written where it says we have to fall back down. It's just something that happens. But like the brother said, oh, my screen went dead for some reason. Like the brother said, hopefully you guys can still see me.
Yeah.
We are in a position right now to learn from our. That's why I talk about the ancient past a lot, because I believe that the past is prologue, and I believe that if you really understand the past really is the future. So every millennia you go back, you'll find the same conditions on this planet. If you go back to 2019 BCE, you'll find similar conditions that we're facing right now, problems and issues that we're facing right now in 2019 CE. And so it's really important to understand also the fact that, like you said, technology is really advancing at an extreme pace. Even suppressed technology that's going on behind the scenes. I actually own a tech company, and we're working on some of the alternative technologies that the mainstream had been suppressing and not directing the masses towards for a very long time. But now it's becoming so open, and now it's the perfect timing for us to move into these technologies. We're developing technology based off of ancient tablets, based off the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita. We're developing a ferrofluid vortex engine based off of information from the Vimanika Sastra. We're developing perpetual motion devices based off information from Sumerian tablets. We're developing all these technologies based off the concepts or the conceptual designs left behind in ancient scriptures and so forth. We just developed a brand new type of a deep cycle battery, which I did a short video on the other day, which is going to help third world country citizens power their properties and their small businesses for up to a week in case of a brownout, using a very sophisticated setup of inlaid copper. So, it's just time. The time is just right now for us to really excel and get to the next level, both consciously and also technologically. And we can get to this golden age, but we have to find a way. And I think, in my opinion, the big ultimate challenge is to stop this cycle of rise and fall. According to the Mayans, it's happened 4 times on this planet, and we're heading into the 5th age, when the age of Aquarius gets here in 2025. And because it's not written there anywhere that we have to fall, why do we? We have to find a way to break this cycle, this loop, and maybe maintain and sustain a golden age level consciousness and golden age level technology on this planet. And there's nobody's saying that it can't be done. I think it's up to us to try to see if we can break this cycle, just like you try to break generational curses. We need to break this generational curse of mankind on this planet, rising and falling, and sustain a high level of civilization on this planet.
Indeed.
Okay. And anybody want to add on to that?
The potentiality of the now is always making it the greatest moment. What we have, like everyone is saying, we're on the cusp of the 4th industrial revolution, where the free economy is now going to be married to free technology. Same things as the brother Billy Carson is talking about, the new instruments, the new technology. When you marry the economy and the movement of energy and technology and everything together, this is how new worlds are born. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is at the doorstep. And, hopefully with conferences such as this, it could just awaken people to that. And they could be mindful of it and be able to see it and move towards it because it's available.
Go ahead, Red.
I just feel that, ultimately we are all collectively living out our purpose, which points to a prophecy. 2020, they wrote about 2020, you know what I mean? Like, this was prophesized that there would be a mass awakening. When we do the research and we look back on the illustrious times of the 60s and the 30s and the 20s, when, these giants came amongst us, the Marcus Messiah Garveys and the Elijahs and things of that nature, the level of information that they were dealing with was groundbreaking at that time. And when we fast forwarded 100 years later to what the collective is dealing with, we could see that our people are definitely tapping into more ancient knowledge, more metaphysical and occult knowledge is being widely accepted on a global scale. The fact that we're on this phone together right now where hundreds and thousands of people could see us in real time and we didn't have to get permission from a broadcast agency or things of that nature, you know, that just speaks about the potential, like Blue Pill says, the potentiality. You know, we're dealing with all of quantum computers are on the rise. Quantum internet is on the rise. All of these things that are at our hands right now. Technology has been democratized. The average man can pick up something that was, you know, only available to the military a few decades ago. So the potential for us to be great, and like Brother Billy Carson says, to break the cycle of this quote unquote ebb and flow of falling, these empires falling, the potential exists in ways that it did not exist before. So this is the time that we've all reincarnated here for a purpose. And I feel that many of the spirits of the great ones are here amongst many of us. And you know,
especially today.
Oh, today's the Day of the Dead, right? Day of the Dead.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to all the ancestors.
Shout out.
They plugged in. They listening.
Wow.
They're gonna be at the lecture.
What a coincidence! What a coincidence!
They're gonna be at the lecture, and so should you.
Facts.
Hey, listen, with that commercial.
Listen, we here once again, family. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We won't be that long tonight. How long we been on tonight? We've been on for about 20. I'm probably for about 15, 20 more minutes because I know everybody's coming in late. But if you really want to hear these brothers speak, I need you to be there Sunday, November 3rd. Once again, we won't be on that long tonight. Enjoy it while we're here. But if you really want to hear us go in depth on some things, come through November 3rd on Sunday, either in person or be there virtually via the live stream. I want to ask y'all, there's certain phrases we hear in our society, such as the greatest show on earth. When something is like absolutely amazing, we'd be like, this is the greatest show on earth. If we apply, I don't know if we could apply the phrase as above, so below to that, but do you guys think that just like we can have the greatest show on earth, do you think that earth is the greatest show on the universe? Because I hear some people say earth is the center of the universe and everybody's watching us. We're like the internet. Just like we go on the internet and we watch all types of shit in our world.
Right.
The universe, we're like the internet. They watch us and they're like,
we're the universe reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. We're reality TV for the rest of the universe. Tell me what you think about that.
You know, one of the things that I would say is that for all of you pet lovers and animal lovers, I have a habit of right before I go to sleep at night, I'll take out my phone and I'll go through Instagram. And there were two things that I look for. The first thing that I look for are dogs and cats doing things that are going to make me double over in laughter. That's going to be an antidote to all of the stress that I had to deal with. And then the second thing that I look for is humans, this fails maybe at the gym. I get a good hearty laugh at how some people are in the gym and they're completely oblivious to how silly they look doing a workout. Nobody wants to tell them, but somebody's filming them. One of the things I've learned about the animal kingdom is that dogs, let's say dogs in particular, dogs have an honesty about them so much to the point where if they have to do their business, they're not concerned about who's watching them. If a human had to do that in America, they would die from embarrassment. So the truth of how dogs live their life is amazing to withhold. Now, if you take that paradigm and you look at it, humans on Earth or Earthlings who are in this particular corporeal reality, I'm sure that we're fascinating to watch because there are so many different forces that are working against us, from ulterior to exterior, internal. We block ourselves. We're being blocked. We're being assaulted. We're being programmed. We're being fed upon. And how we continue to persist and exist and thrive and hopefully acclimate, but move beyond the structure of how we're being held down. That's the world's or the most, the highest galactic entertaining show that, you know, a lot of people tune in to watch Mob Wives and shows like that. and see how people are going to get beyond their foibles and their own devices. But I would agree that, you know, life on Earth is very fascinating to watch. Let's see how these humans get beyond some of the things that they have to deal with. And I could speak about that all day, but, you know, succinctly, that's what I would say.
Okay.
I think you're dead on with that. I mean, we are literally, in my opinion, a gigantic experiment. Not in the sense that, you know, we came out of a petri dish, but there's a lot of different things being thrown at us all at once, plus what we've done to ourselves. We've allowed ourselves to become prisoners, and we're also the prison guards. You know, and that's one of the biggest, you know, things that are holding us down. The programming has been so strong that when one light begins to shine and tries to lighten others, there's always some people that then, you know, change up and try to bring that light down, trying to turn that light off because they don't want the light to continue to turn on. You know, we're just living in an era where it's becoming harder and harder to do that. But I do believe that there are people out there that are watching this entire scenario. And this is one of the reasons why I really do believe in the fractal holographic universe. I believe that there's an ancestor civilization, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, that could be observing this ripple effect that has gone through and watching how random, chaotic quantum events kind of coalesce and go from entropy back to order again. This could be one of the greatest shows in the universe and one of the most diverse planets with some of the most diverse life forms that exist. You know, this is a multi-dimensional planet with multi-dimensional beings on it that have been encased in these three-dimensional avatar bodies. And I think the biggest challenge is to see how we can you know, achieve a higher level of consciousness while still locked into these temporal avatar bodies. And then how do we even phase from that, maybe even to the next level? So I think it's really a gigantic reality show. This is why we're being visited a lot. I think a lot of these visits are observers. Who watches the watchers? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel, man.
Right.
I feel that we are definitely being observed. The light ships that Brother Blue Pill speaks of very often, the starships, the Starship Federation. I could feel someone watching. You know when someone is watching, especially when you're able to quiet your thoughts, especially when you're able to basically, you know, tap into a part of yourself that isn't available with this chitter chatter of, you know, everyday society. But what I also know is that, you know, like Brother Billy Carson mentioned earlier about the Yuga phase that we're in, I do feel that, you know, other entities are aware of the different phases, the Kali Yuga and things of that nature. And from observing us, they're just, you know, taking a toll as to the progress of the ages, the precession of the equinox. You know, someone would be like, oh, the life forms, what would they say if they see how this planet is being destroyed? They would say that everything is going according to plan. You know, they would say that everything is going according to what was written already. It's not. This is not out of order.
Yes, in my interactions with these entities, it was definitely explained to me that we're being observed and everything is being recorded, and there's not an intercession. You know, intercessions are not going to be made at this particular point. So yeah, I mean, this is where everything takes place. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Tell me what the name of God is on Mars. Right? The name Jesus rings throughout the multiverse on every level. They know about us, bro. It's popping down here. You know?
Wow.
All eyes on us.
Listen, I got something wrong with my camera. Like I said, we're not going to be too long tonight, family. For those who didn't catch it live, they will have to catch it on a replay. But once again, family, I can't say enough. If you feel the energy in the chat room, I feel the energy in the chat room tonight. It's all love in the chat. This is all love right here. This is all love. Like if y'all don't feel this ish right here, like, come on, y'all. Something wrong. But it's all love right here on this panel. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And if you can't be there, once again, it's daylight savings time on Sunday also. Keep that in mind when you're traveling. It's daylight saving time. Saturday night, the clocks are being pushed back an hour. But besides that, and it's the marathon in New York, so it's a lot of energy in New York. And they're bringing the chicken sandwich back at Popeyes. How about that? Oh man! But anyway, you know, we don't like, that's a joke, family. For those who think it's that's a joke. But anyway, I got a comment and one last question. The comment I want to make to the just hearing you guys talk to the question that I asked. Around the time I was 30, they call that your Mercury, or not your Mercury retrograde. What do they call that? Your Saturn. What they call that?
Saturn return.
Saturn return.
Around
So
28.
yeah. So I was going through some things around that time. My mom had passed when I was like 28. But going into 30 around that time, I was like a little mentally, it was a little difficult for me at that time. And I remember one of my rituals, one thing that I loved doing when I lived in Harlem is going to Central Park. There was like an amazing energy in Central Park. And I would immediately spot the Sirius constellation. I always knew how to spot the Sirius constellation. It's in New York during the winter time. So I would spot the Sirius constellation. And out of nowhere, one day, I was stressed out and I just started reporting. And I said to those and I started reporting as if somebody was observing and listening to me. I'm like, listen, this shit ain't no joke down here. If you think you just gonna come down here because you a god in another realm, let me tell you, it's not what you think it is. You have to go through some things down here. And I would just start talking like, yo, like this shit will break down the mightiest God. This shit right here will break down the mightiest God in another realm. This is like the density of this realm, the delay of your thoughts and your desires in this realm will cause you to have such a lack of this. The hypnoticness of matter will have you believe that there's nothing spiritual about you. This ain't no joke. So I would just start reporting like, yo, and talking to the spirits like, yo, be aware if you coming down here, this, da. And so hearing y'all saying that you being observed, I could totally relate to that because that's just something I felt like I was being observed. So I started talking like I was being observed. But
can I add on?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
In this dualistic existence that is the planet Earth, which was called, it's been called the prison planet. Based on the studies that I've done, it's almost akin to the movie Avatar. You had Jake Sully, who was in the outer realms, and his spirit came down and animated the quote unquote husk of the Avatar, the Navi. It did the Navi so it can navigate this terrain. This terrain is terrain
in this spacesuit, right?
In this spacesuit, based, I don't, like you said, Rich, you could be Thanos in another realm. We don't have any reports of men flying around and moving mountains with their hands. Everyone who comes into the earth plane, they have to obey the rules of the earth plane, the quote unquote hermetic principles. And we all fall under these principles, irregardless of whatever light is inhabited or animating the human body. Now, we could stretch the human body to supernatural abilities, of course, but this is still what is considered a prison planet. And this is about experience. This is about, rising and falling. This is about God, or, whatever name you want to give it, experience itself. This is about, the fact that it created itself out of a negative space. And here we are in Malkuth. So you right on point with what it is that you're saying, Rich. In the same way that you could spot Sirius, there's beings on Sirius that can spot you. Remember that.
Right.
Your light shines as well. There's people on this planet, their light shines. Yeah. So imagine the entities that are able to see, quote unquote, X-rays, microwaves, the spirits walking this planet, and all of the different planes that exist pancaked on top of each other. It's not just us that are here. They're different planes.
I gotta see that movie Interstellar again. Anybody seen that lately? Interstellar?
Facts.
Yeah, I saw it again to prepare for this lecture.
I gotta see Interstellar. Billy Carson, you familiar with that movie?
Oh, very familiar, man. The Tesseract. I've written about the Tesseract, which is also Metatron's cube. fourth dimensional cube. I've written about it for the last 10 years in various different blogs and posts and so forth, and trying to give people the concept of understanding how outside of the third dimension, past, present, and future all happen at the same time. You know, kind of so like just like in the movie Interstellar, you see he's at his house, but he's trapped in a tesseract, but he's able to see his daughter at different stages of her life.
Right.
Bending time.
Oh yeah, it's just powerful, man. You really
So
have to
Rich,
check that out.
I listened to a program that you did with the priesthood, Minister Jew, Noble Ampu, and KT the Arc Degree when they did a breakdown of Interstellar on your program.
Oh, I gotta listen to that. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for saying that.
That he also did the Interstellar breakdown live on 11/14 on our birthday at Nicholas when it came out. That's a monumental movie, like he said, breaking down the Tesseract that I've been trying to explain with every Law 44 lecture. And shout out to Billy Carson, because he's about the only brother that I saw on the internet that had a clip up, like really explaining the significance. When you asked me in the last program, can we program or hack consciousness by observing shapes and forms? If we understood the power of the Tesseract, the cube within the cube, and the importance of the hypercube to the mythology of damn near everything on this planet, if we could explain it to you in that way, it would be so much more easier to understand and to start hacking. Yeah, the Tesseract, you know, which is the cosmic cube in every Marvel Universe movie.
That's right.
Which is the Energon cube in Transformers. We was raised off of it in G.I. Joe and Transformers. They prepared us. You dig what I'm saying? So
indeed,
let's get to it, man. Let's get to this lecture, y'all.
Yo, family, it's going down to the third. I got one last question for the gentleman on this panel. We ain't gonna give you too much tonight. Like I said, it's just all love tonight. I feel it. I know y'all feel it. And I'm not exaggerating one bit. It's just all love on this panel tonight. No ego, all love. And this is what I wanted when I put together this conference. And I'm so happy that I'm putting together this conference. I got one last question for you gentlemen. And then we're going to see y'all on Sunday. All right. So we're having this conference. We're talking about 2020 Ascension. We're talking about going from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Red and Blue Pill, they talk frequently about paradigm shifting. What I want to ask you, gentlemen, and I want to start with the brother Street Master Grills, and then everybody else could follow up. When a person gets inspired, say they see the documentary The Secret, they get inspired, they want to make change in their life, and they're excited. They're extremely excited, they're motivated, their adrenaline's running, and they start doing good things. And good things start happening for them, and they say, oh shit, this works. The spiritual stuff works. Right after that, something bad happens, and they're like, oh shit. As soon as something good happens in my life, something bad always follows that. And that's something that I hear constantly in people's life, that as soon as something good happens, as soon as I make $100,000, boom, my car broke down, I lost my home, that shit's gone. As soon as I achieve success, oh shit, my mom died, my brother died, my sister died. It seems like for some people, when they try to make that leap to another frequency, that old frequency is like, nigga, where you going? Nigga, where you going? Come back here, nigga. Where you going? You ain't leaving me. You ain't leaving me. What the hell is going on when you try to make that change and that old you is resilient? I'm gonna start with Street Master Gano Grills, and then we'll move forward and we'll end it there.
Okay, so there are two reasons that I know of why that happens. This isn't always the case, but one of the primary causes for when someone gets to a certain state and they're ready to close a lucrative deal, and then it seems to slip through their fingertips, or they actually accomplish something, but right behind that, it's a brick wall. In a lot of my consultations, when I diagnose my students and some of my people, what I see is that the ancestors have a lot of power in and over the lives of their, as Blue Pill says, ascendants, not descendants. We're going to turn that around. And what happens is that when we come into this embodiment, the ancestors give us the permission to utilize their DNA, their genealogy, and a lot of their other spiritual gifts. This is a contracted thing that happens in the spiritual world. Unfortunately, in the West, it's not as understood because it's something that's been withheld because the church didn't want the conflict of the competition of having that kind of mindset, therefore to empower us, to give us a better connection with our ancestors. So to make a long story short, the ancestors have the power to withdraw the potential of some of the abundance that we are looking at if we don't address them and if we don't give them the ashe. And what that means is, this is something that's not really taught about. It's incumbent upon us to make offerings to our ancestors so that we don't face those kinds of detractions or subtractions when we're getting a little bit of momentum going. And I know this personally because for a very long time, I struggled with finances, having a place to live, and lots of other things. But the single most instrumental force in my life was having an altar that I made offerings to and lots of other things. And my life went from here and it steadily climbed upward and it's still moving. So when I give people a certain set of rituals that they can utilize to appease their ancestors and balance out the inequity, that the ancestors are very capable of looking into your life and saying, well, you still owe me something, then those things stop and people continue to have greater success and greater luck. That's one of the things. I have something else, but I'm going to leave it there and I'll save the other one for the actual conference.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like Tree Master was saying, what he's alluding to really is a certain level of expression of gratitude. And I think what happens, even I've seen it in my own life, achieving certain things and realizing the divinity and the power that's in you, sometimes it's a very tough balance between the ego, and thankfulness. And of course, we're enacting and empowering ourselves to do specific things and achieve certain levels in society, whether it be through business or work or education or whatever it is. But at the same time, when you achieve a certain level of success, it's easy to forget to give thanks and to honor, like he says, the ancestors. And I mean, even just understanding that inside of your DNA, they live, because epigenetic memories go, hundreds of generations. So mainstream is trying to say about 14 or 15, but I think it's much longer than that because they discovered that DNA is a storage medium and it can store bits of data, and it also stores memories. So I really do believe that they are inside of our bodies. I mean, you don't have to look too far to find them. They're inside of you. And I think when you resonate on the frequency of thankfulness is when you actually tap into that multidimensional aspect of yourself and them. And you have the capability of generating this, what I call positive karma, that goes out, but then also comes back into your life. I think combining that with meditations and manifestation meditations in particular, which I'm going to talk about this weekend, will help to hold off some of these blindside attacks that you may not see coming, and also how to pre-plan for being blindsided is what I'm going to talk about as well on Sunday, how to pre-plan that so that you can actually prepare yourself. If you look at a military, what they do is they pre-plan for an attack. They don't just wait till the attack happens and then go, now what do we do, guys? They plan for that attack. They're ready for an attack right now. At any moment, they're ready for an attack. I mean, from the time an attack starts, they have a protocol, and the preparation's already been done for many decades just to get to this point. So we have to be in that kind of mindset. We have to be prepared for these situations, and that's what I'm going to talk about on Sunday.
If I think about the question that you asked and I close my eyes and I look at it, you said often, why do people snap back or relapse when they attempt these paradigm shifts or changes of consciousness? And what I see in my mind is more like a magnetic recoil. And if you think about where energy is stored and where we gather magnetism mostly in the body, it's in the core aspect or the core element of our body. When that is infested by parasites, if you think of worms and the nature that they recoil in, when you attempt to break the ethereal cords or the contracts that you have with these entities who oftentimes have you on autopilot when you're in their service, all types of shit be popping for you. You know what I'm saying? You think you the one, but you attempt to switch that up and tap into a different energy source, and there's going to be a magnetic recoil because they're getting hit that you are attempting to be more intelligent than them. Because remember, your husk is primarily in service to bacteria first and foremost. You are secondary human, your primary bacteria.
Okay.
So
okay.
your descension on this planet is meant for you to continue to descend to become worm food. You have to go against the grain for ascension. That's why the master, Sri Master Gano Grill said, you achieve that state of ascension once you pass this husk, not to come back here again. Can we achieve true ascension or true enlightenment in this body? It's not for this body. Light sentient being is not the bacterial body. You know what I'm saying? So this goes into the whole paradigm of heaven and hell and all of these mythological stories that we can explain in an anatomical, astronomical sense, right? Take all of the spookism and give people practical applications about how you can break those contracts and really go into a transformative state. You have to get the parasites out.
Red Bill?
Imagine your ancestors working for you in the ancestor realm and lining it up to where you get an Oscar and your monkey ass get up there and thank Jesus Christ. Imagine you have an elder or an ancestor of yours who lives to be in their 90s or close to 100, and they make transition, and you go to their burial service, and the whole service is about Jesus Christ. They don't even speak about the ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of...
All glory to Jesus.
Exactly. So here we have all of this, like the brother spoke about, the lack of gratitude that we as a human race, underneath the spell of religion, you know, always giving up the power to something outside of self. Whereas, like the brother said, with epigenetics, you know, we are our ancestors. You know, there's no such thing as, why is this the greatest time? This is the greatest time because the now is the greatest time, because we are, everyone who has ever existed is sitting on this couch right now.
Right.
You know, so that would just be what that would be my add-on. I don't feel as a race, as a people, we're giving up our power. It's outside of self. And when we're challenged, because with joy comes pain, this is the realm of duality once again. So I always say that when something great is popping or something good happens, I brace myself and I prepare for the inevitable, because the pendulum is going to swing. I make sure that I'm not too happy sometimes, because I know with that happy is going to come some kind of sadness. So I prepare myself for that, because in this dualistic reality that we live in, you're going to have to take the joy with the pain. Didn't who told you that? Dougie Fresh? Joy and pain.
Yeah, I hear people say we should live somewhere in the middle. If they, even the basketball players say, if you celebrate the victories too much, you end up celebrating the losses too much. So they say when they win sometime, they don't celebrate too much, because you're getting a habit of responding to external stimuli.
We also want to remind the people, like you said, you know, keeping the energy and the frequency on gratitude. Also, always celebrate small victories. You know what I'm saying? The small stuff must be acknowledged and it must be celebrated. You must celebrate those small moments, you know, especially when no one is looking. Show gratitude and open up that channel of reciprocation.
Right,
you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we are who we are when no one's looking. So when we say gratitude, that don't mean go on Instagram and write about your do it. You know, like that self-talk is real. Neville Goddard talked about that. Reverend Ike, and he taught Neville Goddard, I think. Or Blue Pill, is it the other way around? Reverend Ike, he taught Neville Goddard, right? Or was it the other way around? Neville Goddard taught Reverend Ike. Do you know who taught who?
They taught one another.
All right, let's just leave it at that. I'm not sure, but they talked about that, the importance of self-talk, because we go out in the world and we say we're one thing, but that when you're doing dishes, and I said this before, those thoughts you have when you're doing dishes, that's what's going to manifest, not who we go out and that's the ego talking, just trying to, you know, impress somebody. That's the word. Yeah, impress somebody. Listen, family, like I said, we're not long. We're wrapping it up. Sunday, no, I mean, I could go on and on. Obviously, I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time. I'm always learning. And but I gotta save the best part for Sunday. Billy Carson's gonna have his books. Street Master Gano Grills is gonna have his material. Red Pill's gonna have his material. Blue Pill's gonna have his material. He already talked about his food, as well as other things, the Gold Award and other things. So it's gonna be such a great time, such a great day. Come out. It's only $50, $60 at the door. The reason why I price it at that's extremely cheap. I could easily charge $200 for a full day event of what you get. But I want you to enjoy everything else that's going on that day. I want you to spend your money with the vendors, spend your money with Red Blue. Billy Carson just shipped me his books. I should show you them. Listen, Billy, I need every book.
Put me one to the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna need every book Billy Carson has to be sold out that day. I don't know how much did you send me, brother? How many books?
I think I sent 50.
Are you if you're able to bring more on the plane, you got to bring more on the plane.
You got to bring more. You know.
Yeah. If you're able, I should have told you more. I think I told you 60. If you're able to bring more on the plane, my brother, bring some more on the plane. But I need my brother to sell out of all his books. I done told y'all it's one of the best books I've read this year. I need him to sell out. I need y'all to go to Street Master Gano Grills, his seminars that he have all over the country. I need you.
World.
We are what we wear. So I need you to buy some clothes from Red Pill and represent yourself with some divinity. I need you to eat healthy, eat alkaline, eat electrical. I need you to support Blue Pill. And most of all, I need you to support Brother Richard, the platform I provide, and get the live stream or attend the conference. And with that being said, Brother Billy Carson, Blue Pill, Red Pill, Street Master Gano Grills, I want to thank you, number one, for being on this panel. This conference, Sunday, November 3rd, is going down in Brooklyn, New York. Also, I want to thank you for coming on my YouTube channel tonight and just giving the people a preview of what's going down on Sunday. Family, it's all love here. It's all love here. I want to appreciate everybody in the chat room. And with that being said, we getting out of here, family. I'm gonna see y'all. Peace.
Peace.